Welcome to Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win-Win Women TV. This show is all about sharing the tips, tools, and techniques that will allow you to step boldly in the direction of your dreams despite your feelings, fears, or past failures, to imagine what's possible for yourself and live the life you deserve. Well, hello, and welcome to this episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win-Win Women TV. Unleash your audacious confidence. Yes, so we have a very intriguing topic for us today. But before we get started, I wanted to just invite you to connect with me, Alicia360.com. You can go there and connect with me on all social media platforms. And check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/Alicia Couri. We have replays of this show, as well as additional episodes of our podcast, and a lot of other content there to help you be your best. So this is all about growing your audacious confidence. So go connect with us and check that out. We'll be starting some programs next year that you can participate with and be a part of to also boost your confidence. If you find that you need that extra tips to boost it. Okay, so our show today is when the holidays just suck. You know, bah humbug. The holidays can be a really challenging time for some people. It can be a really difficult time. So this show is really for those who not are just struggling during this time, but you might know someone who is struggling. You might know someone and you're not sure how to talk to them, or they're just always miserable around the holiday time, and you want to be empathetic, but you just don't know what they're going through. So hopefully we can shed some light today on the show and just share a little things. I did a preview show not too long ago for this, and some really, really great reasons that people find the holidays difficult came up from the audience that was watching live. So thank you so much for sharing some of those challenges that people have. And I'm just going to go through a list of some of those, and then we're going to talk about some possible solutions for you during this time if you find that it's a difficult time for you. So I'm going to start with maybe one of the lighter things, maybe one of that it bothers you. It's something that your entire life you've had to deal with during the holidays, and it's probably made you miserable. Not everyone, but for some. And this actually came because my sister and I were having a conversation about this, and her birthday is 2 days after Christmas. And so she always felt like she was left out. She always felt like her birthday didn't matter. She didn't matter. And so, and my uncle, whose birthday was on Christmas Day, also kind of, it's almost like they try to lump you in together. You got a twofer, Christmas, birthday, all in one. I have a niece whose birthday is 2 days before Christmas, and my son's birthday is early in January. So it's like tough to be when everyone else is celebrating, to feel like you're being left out. My daughter is actually, her birthday's on Halloween. It's on October 31st. So after she was born on October 31st, we no longer considered it Halloween. We considered that was her birthday. So we didn't celebrate anything but her birthday on that day while she was growing up. And it's so funny because she always said, wow, everybody dresses up to celebrate my birthday. That's so fun. So in her little mind, the concept was, as she was growing up, that everybody in the world celebrated her on her birthday because it was her birthday. So, but birthdays could be hard around this time of year. Anytime between Halloween and a couple weeks into January, your birthday, if you're celebrating your birthday, maybe you never got to celebrate your birthday and it was always a tough time of the year because you were getting older, but nobody was really recognizing you as anything special during that time. So my suggestion for you for that is you celebrate your birthday. You make it a point to celebrate. My sister was saying the way she always gave everyone the message that, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it, no big deal. And so when people stopped making a big deal out of it and weren't worrying about it and it didn't matter, then she felt some kind of way about it. And she was saying, you know, like when her husband didn't really, like he wanted to throw her a party and she was like, no, don't make a fuss, don't make a big deal, it's no big deal. And she would go to work on her birthday because, you know, work starts back on that day. And it was just never important. And then she felt unimportant. So if someone is celebrating their birthday during this time of the year, recognize them, celebrate with them, make a special effort to celebrate that day with them. And you, if it's your birthday, you make a special effort to celebrate yourself during this time. Celebrate yourself, allow people to celebrate you, and don't get run over by the holidays. Don't let it just be a speed bump or a blip on the way to something else. Celebrate yourself, right? So that was the first one. And that conversation led down a rabbit hole of so many other things that people can find challenging and difficult over the holidays. One of the others is seasonal depression. People can be depressed during this time of the year, and they can be depressed for a number of reasons. I know for more than a decade, I would find this time of the year to be very difficult for two reasons. One, we didn't always have money back in the day. Money was really tight, and so it was always difficult. And the more children we had, the tighter it got. And you want to celebrate your child, you want to be able to give your kids gifts. You want to be able to cook all the fancy foods and everything. But this time of the year can be really difficult for families when they don't have the resources to get everything that they want to get. I would say make sure you do your research. There are food banks. There are different opportunities for toys and gifts. Reach out to your local Salvation Army. Reach out to if there's a sports team in your area. Sometimes the sports teams give away things for the children. They do children's giveaways. They do food drives. So reach out, find out how you can be resourced within your community for some of the things that they're doing. Reach out to your council representatives, your Congress representatives, reach out to those people and see what resources they have available, so that you can make sure that you have what you need on your table for food, make sure that your children have toys or something. There are drives, there are churches. So don't sit and just be in depression because you don't have this season. Reach out to a neighbor. There's this saying, closed mouths don't get fed. So if you sit with your mouth closed and you allow pride to guide this situation, then you can find yourself depressed and you can find yourself without. But when you start asking for help, you reach out and go to trusted sources, go to people who aren't like, going to spread your business everywhere, but go to trusted sources. Like I said, go to local churches, go to your city and county representatives, and see what resources they have, what they're planning to do, and make sure you're a part of those events that share with the community. Another reason for well, like I said, I got that seasonal depression because it was always the end of the year, and all the dreams, all the plans I had made at the beginning of the year, when I look back, sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't even come close to achieve. And I would get in such a funk the last few weeks of the year. I would be in such a funk. Now, nobody really knew that. Nobody knew it because I always had a smile on my face. I knew really well how to be with people, around people, and have a good time and show them. But in my alone time, and that's why I never saw it as seasonal depression. I never categorized it as depression, because it was like a switch I would flip on and off. But when I was alone, and there were times when it was just, I was alone by my, like home by myself. My husband was off to work. My kids were off to school. I was by myself, and I would just be in such a funk. And so sometimes when you look back at the year and you haven't accomplished what you set out to accomplish, you haven't done what you said you were going to do. And I know for me, a lot of those years, I was kind of waiting for permission to do it, or waiting on somebody else, or I was just in like this holding pattern. And I had to recognize that I was responsible for that. That if these were my dreams, these were my hopes, I had to go out and get it. I needed to change what I was doing to get a different result. The law of cause and effect. We've done shows on the laws of the universe. I've done different episodes on the laws of the universe. So what was causing me to not hit my goals? Well, I didn't put the right structure in place. I didn't put the right plans in place. I didn't take the right actions throughout the year to make sure that I was hitting those goals. I didn't pace it out with milestones to make sure I was hitting those goals. So once I took 100% responsibility of the result that I was getting, and that it was up to me to change the reality of that result, then I stopped having that seasonal depression, because I was moving forward. I was targeting my goals. And one of our guests who was on the pre-show and on the show shared with me that when you start looking back, look back and have gratitude of all the little wins that you had that you're probably not counting, because you're looking at the overall goals, the bigger goals, but you're not taking into account all the little wins that you had throughout the year, all the blessings that you failed to count throughout your year. And I think that is a major, major, major lesson. And I thank Tivon so much for sharing that with me, because a lot of times we do forget all the little blessings that we've experienced throughout the year, when we start looking back at the entire year. So journaling is really important when you do those things. If you journal, if you have a journal of wins, journal of great things that have happened to me today, and you write down what is a great thing that's happened to me today before you go to bed at night, then you can go back and look through that journal and look back at all those great wins that you had. So if you've never journaled before, I'm not a big journaler. I make notes on my phone of things that have happened. But if you're a journaler and you want to start a journal of great things, all the great things that have happened to me today, and you just write in your journal, oh, today, this was an amazing day. This happened, that, the small blessings. And when you start adding up all those small blessings, you realize that your life is blessed. So having gratitude for that when you look back at all those little wins. Another reason people can find that this is a difficult time of year is if a loved one is not with you, either because they're away, maybe they're deployed, they're in the military and they're deployed somewhere else, and you miss them over the holidays. The kids miss them, they miss you. Maybe your kids are away at college for the first time, or they're out of the country for the first time, and they're not going to be with you. And so you're missing them, they're missing you, and you have that challenge. It could be grief. Maybe you've lost a loved one this year, and you're now celebrating the holidays without them for the first time, or you lost them during the holidays, and it's always a hard time during the holidays remembering, because having to go through it without them, it's a difficult time. I am not an expert in grief counseling, and I I will not ever pretend to know what you're going through if you've lost someone and you're grieving through this time. But one thing I will say is when you find moments that you can laugh and you can share their memory of the really good times that you did have together. Maybe there were some holidays that you spent together that were just the best and the best times, and you can find those times in your memory and not focus, because there is a universal principle that what you focus on expands. And so if you shift your focus from focusing on missing them and them not being around, to focus on all the wonderful times that you did have with them, what you did together, create traditions for the times, the things that you did together, and maybe create some type of memory, whether it's a photo album, a collage, a quilt, something that can bring them closer to you. You can have, I saw like on Etsy, they can make these teddy bears out of scraps of clothing. And they can make teddy bears, they can make quilts, they can make all these wonderful things that you can have as a memory now, as a physical touch point of that person that you can hold and have close to you and remember all the great things. You can do make videos, a video collage, and play it during the holidays for everyone. And instead of the memory being a very difficult one, you can shift that perspective and find ways to celebrate that life, celebrate them, and create really great memories with and for them during that time. And that can give you some joy during the holidays. Another one that was brought up that I didn't even think about was fourth quarter sales. Like all the people who are working so hard to close out this year, and they're working double time and overtime, and they're just, pushing and pounding, and they're not having a good holiday because it's the stress level is like, So they may seem a little bah humbug. They may seem like a little bit of a Grinch. So cut them some slack, help them find joy, help them find ways to ease. Maybe you can find ways to help ease their burden a little bit so that they're not that highly stressed when they're around you. I talked about not having enough. That's a huge burden for some people because you have, oh my gosh, all the candy of Halloween, right? You have to go out and buy candy. Then comes around Thanksgiving, and you have to have Thanksgiving dinner and all this stuff. And maybe you traveled for Thanksgiving to go visit family. So you had to buy airline tickets, or you had to buy winter clothes to go somewhere cold, or, you had to pay for gas in your car. And so that was a huge expense. So the food and the travel was a big expense over the Thanksgiving weekend. And then Black Friday hits, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, and you have all this stuff and everything. It has a handout for you. And then comes around Christmas again with the food and the gifts and the parties and all the stuff and you're like, oh my goodness. And then there's New Year comes around, and then the celebration. You may be traveling again over the holidays to go visit family, so that's another airline ticket or another gas for your car and a rental car and Airbnb and hotel stays and all the things. And so you're doing all of that, and come January 2nd, it's like, I ain't got no money, right? Where's the money? And then your child has a birthday, January 3rd, 4th, or 5th, or 11th. And you have to still celebrate that individual, that human being. And so plan accordingly, plan ahead. Start planning January for the following holiday season so you can start saving up for it, and you can start putting things away a little bit by a little bit. And so that the next holidays, you're not feeling that crunch and that, I had started years ago saving change, where if we spent $1, we would take, and it was 50 cents, 75 cents left over, whatever we spent, anything that was left over from that $1, we banked. We banked the change. We kept the change from it, and we banked that change. And that change would go towards something. So maybe you can start at the beginning of the year, saving your change. Like every time you spent $1, you put the change. We even had a bank account that would, if we used our debit card, it will round it up to the nearest dollar and put that change in a different account. So we were saving the change, whether it was a physical bill or if it was an online transaction or a debit card transaction, it would save the difference. So there are ways that you can save that's not going to be this chunk of money that's going to hurt you, and you just save over time for what it is that you need or what it is that you want to do. That's just one little tip that we did. We still kind of save the change from our debit cards in that account. Maybe you can try it. So finding strength and comfort, looking at memories when you've lost someone. But the overall thing to do, not be silent during this time. Don't keep it in. Don't keep it to yourself. There are hotlines, there are counselors that you can talk to. There are people, if you're feeling overwhelmed, that you can call, buddy up with someone, join a group. Win-Win Women, they have great circles, groups of women. If you need support, if you need a woman to support you during this time, don't be silent. That is the worst thing, because when you get silent and all you have are the thoughts in your head and you're headed towards depression, those thoughts only go down. It's very, very challenging and very difficult to pull yourself up unless you have a really strong mind and a strong spirit that can pull you out of those darker times. So having someone that you can call, someone that you can talk to, a therapist, a friend, a coworker, clergy, a pastor, find someone that you can trust, that you can say, you know what, I'm not doing so well right now. I'm not doing so great. And I need some help. I need someone to talk to. Because in being that vulnerable, being that open, people can always find you resources, find you help. But if you're not open to opening up, it's just going to be more and more challenging and more difficult for you. So if nothing else, if you do nothing else, I would say find a trusted source to open up with. And if you don't have a trusted source, go to alicia360.com, reach out to me, and let's see what we can find together for you. Because I don't think that anyone needs to be alone or suffering during this time of the year. This could be a marvelous, magnificent time if you focus in on the right thing, focus in on love, focus on the reason that this season exists, and find support where you can. So I'm going to ask, in the last minutes that we have, I have a friend who's joining me. I don't think you're able to jump on video, but hopefully we can grab you on audio if you're available to talk. I know you were driving. If there's anything that I missed that you would like to share, I would like to invite you to unmute your microphone if you can and share a little bit with us, Tivon. I'll give a few seconds to yes.
Absolutely, we are here, and peace and love. Thank you so much for this. This is so needed. Um, yes, and all the gems that you shared were right on point. Um, yeah, it's just again, we have to be very clear that these times require those strategies. And um, yeah, I was writing them down as you were you were saying them, because again, we give so much throughout the year. We have to be conscious of how to balance, like you said, when everybody's jipper and the lights are going and everybody, yeah. So this is great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing this.
Thank you. Thank you. And like I said, you gave me some scenarios I didn't think of, like soldiers away for the holidays, and it could be difficult for empty nesters, parents who their kids went off to college and they're away for the holidays, can be kind of tough. So listen, always walk in gratitude and love. Love conquers a lot. So if your fellow man during this time of the year, if they seem to be not their usual happy self, they may not be bar humbugging, they may not be that crotchety, but they may be displaying a different level of stress, feeling, being a little bit more agitated or a little bit more withdrawn or a little tense. If you're seeing that, be a friend, reach out, ask, is everything okay? Can I bring you something? Hey, we have this. You may not be up for a full celebration, but we have something. Maybe I can bring something to you afterwards. If they have children, sometimes the holidays might be a little bit tough for them. You know, find out if there's a toy drive around that you can that you can point them in the right direction. Like be a friend. Like find ways that you can help and support someone else during this time. And I'm going to tell you, the rewards that come back to you will be infinite. So pay attention. Don't just get into the holiday cheer and put blinders on to think that everybody's experiencing this holiday cheer. Look around for people that you can bless during this time. Look for opportunities to bless them. I didn't even talk about, there may be families that are homeless at this time, and for the very first time homeless. Sometimes as it gets cold, there may be a house fire or something like that. If you see something like that in your neighborhood and the family's misplaced or something like that happens, see what you can do. If there's something that you can do, maybe it might just be a little thing, even going over there and just saying, I'm sorry. Sometimes people just want a hug to know that somebody cares. The people want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to know that they're valued and that their life means something. So if you're able to see them, the elderly, they may be in a home, they don't have any other family, and they might be in a nursing home alone. Maybe you lost a grandparent and you don't have a grandparent. Go make a grandparent. Go find someone that you can bless during this holiday time. There are a lot of things that we can do when we take the blinders off and we start becoming more human and seeking out how we can bless others. Anyway, I don't mean to get on a soapbox. I hope it didn't sound like I'm just saying there are opportunities to be a blessing. So if you take this time of year and see, how can I be a blessing? And you wake up every day, how can I be a blessing to someone else? The opportunity will show itself to you, and you can be bold in that opportunity, be brave, and step out and do something to show that you have audacious confidence. Happy holidays, everybody. And I'll see you on another episode next week, next Monday, on right here on Win Win Women TV for Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. Until then, bye.